video demonstrates how to name column headers when calculating partial area during non-compartmental analysis in Phoenix streamlining platform. Here we have a non-compartmental analysis with partial areas calculated. And we see that in this table, we already have 2 partial areas specified. You can also change the number of the partial areas that you want to calculate in the panel at the bottom. So for this object, I selected 2 partial areas that I want to calculate. And I also previously entered the start time and end time for each partial areas. I also entered in the label column the name that I want to have for each partial area. This object has been executed, and we select the final parameters pivoted. Scroll all the way to the right. We see that the calculations for both partial areas are listed at the end of this worksheet. And we see the partial AUC 0 to 8 as a column header. And the second area has a partial AUC 8 to 12 for area number 2. These are the labels that I entered in the label column. Sometimes if I want to change the area number 2 from 12 to 24, but then I forgot to change my label, and then I click on execute. What happens in here is that in the results sheet, we see that the calculations for the second partial area has been successfully updated, but not the column header. The reason is that I didn't change the label in the setup table. The workaround for this is that I can leave this label column blank. So if I remove all the previous entries that I did, and then I click on execute again, calculations are still the same, but then the column headers have been updated to be AUC 0 to 8 and AUC 8 to 24. So this match exactly the same as the start time and the end time that we specified for each partial area. So what would happen if we change the time points again? So this time I want to change for area number 1, the end time from 8 to 12 hours. And for area number 2, I want to change the start time from 8 to 12 hours. I also leave the label column blank, and then I click on execute. Scroll all the way to the right, and this time we see that both calculations for the partial areas are updated, as well as the column headers. They automatically updated based on the time points that I selected for each partial area. In conclusion, when doing partial area calculation in Phoenix NCA objects, the label column can be left blank in the setup table. So if the start time and end time are changed later on, the corresponding column headers can be automatically updated.